Hey, Tom Hegney here. Thought I'd give you some tips on how to really thrive in this lockdown environment. I've done a whole presentation on it. There's really, 3 or 4 things that you should do. In this video, I want to focus on your attitude because I think your attitude is the most important thing that you can keep positive right now. And, it may be hard to keep a positive attitude, but it is so important. Take the attitude. If it's to be, it's up to me. It's not up to my company. It's not up to my manager. It's not up to anybody else. If it's to be, it's up to me. You got to take this bull by the horns and maybe do things that you've never done before in a different way that you've ever done it before. And don't think I'm just telling you this. I'm living through it, okay? My entire business model had to change overnight, and it did. And I'm having my best year that I've ever had. And I want you to have your best year ever. So you got to keep that positive attitude. Increase your level of activity and hold yourself accountable. Put it on the calendar. If your job is to call 30 people every day, one of the things that I did is I had a cup on my desk, I'd dump it over, and then I'd have 30 Abraham Lincolns looking at me. And every time I asked somebody for an appointment, I put a penny back in the cup. And the deal I had with myself is, as soon as the pennies were back in the cup, I could go home. But I couldn't go home until the pennies were back in the cup. And what that did for me is it kept me disciplined. It kept me in the prospecting process, because otherwise what happens is you say, oh, I'm going to call 20 people today or 30 people today. You start calling a couple people, and then somebody says, hey, Mr. Anderson's on the phone. He's unhappy with his Check-O-Matic. Then you got to fix that. And then you got to run an illustration for the Johnsons. And all of a sudden your day's gone and you did not call your people. So hold yourself accountable. There's a few books that may help you. When I was a brand new rep, somebody told me to read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I did. And that book changed the way I think about everything. I learned my brain is a supercomputer, and I can literally do anything that I put my mind to. So I would encourage you to read that book. If you're having, trouble in the business, you don't know if this is the right business for you, it seems too hard, it doesn't seem like it fits you, I would encourage you to read Joe Jordan's book, Living a Life of Significance. Now, Joe has been a personal mentor to me for over 30 years. He's in all of my books, but he will really put the business back in your heart. It's not about pushing products. It's not about selling stuff. It's about helping families and doing the right thing, and that there's tremendous, that this is a tremendous profession. And so I would encourage you to read that book. And then if you're having trouble with your own persistence and stick-to-itiveness and grit, I would read a book by Ben Newman, Own Your Success. Ben works with professional athletes, and he talks about mental toughness and grit and perseverance, which is, what you need right now. I would encourage you not to participate in pity parties. It's so easy. Everybody's having negative things happen. Oh, did you hear this is happening? Oh, they're cutting the interest rate on this. Oh, this is so terrible. And you just talk to people and they're all negative and they're all crying about this and that. Don't do that. I can promise you, in every one of your companies, there's somebody who's having the best year they've ever had. Call them. What are they doing? Find out, talk to successful people, talk to people who are making things happen, because you got to remember, as bad as things are, there are many people out there having the best year they've ever had. So you can find them to make them clients, and you can ask them what they're doing so that you get some ideas. This is a great time for truck drivers and delivery drivers. And, I always say there are riches and niches. Find your niche. It will make you rich. So maybe you got to find a new niche. Maybe you work with doctors or dentists or chiropractors or truck drivers. I don't know, but you got to find a niche. Go deep. Be the expert in your area in a certain subject. And then let everybody know that you are the expert in that area, and post really good things online. Watch your social media. When people have a birth or a death or a marriage or an engagement, those are life events, and more people are going to buy because of a life event. They lost their job. They got to do a 401k rollover. Contact people based on what you're seeing in your social media. Make your social media presence as large as possible, and then watch it and listen. Call your clients. Just ask them how they're doing. Can you pick up a gallon of milk from them? Can you pick up some orange juice? I'm telling you, this is a time to deepen your relationship with your people. So I saw this on the internet, and this is going to, kind of tick off some people, but it said, in times of crisis, bad businesses fail, good businesses survive, and great businesses thrive. Now that may sound a little cruel, because there are going to be some good businesses that fail, because this was a man-made shutdown of the whole economy. We've never seen that before. But then I would ask you, was that really a good business? That they didn't have 6 to 12 months of emergency funds around? I think one of the biggest lessons that we all learned from this crisis is that everybody, I need it. You need it. Every business needs it. We need an emergency fund. And they used to say 3 months of emergency fund. I don't think 3 months is enough. I think it should be 12 to 18 to 24 months of an emergency fund. I promise you, this is not going to be the last crisis we're ever going to have. So get your mind right, get your attitude. And if you can have a positive attitude and keep your activity levels high, your results are going to be fantastic. So that was my message for today.